Hello, and welcome to another edition of Viva Africa 2019. I'm your host, Mukami Wombora, and I can't believe it's finally here, the AFCON 2019. Tonight, Egypt taking on Zimbabwe at 11 p.m. And in studio, the theme is just like our show, Viva Africa. We have fans from all over Africa. We have DRC Congo, we have Uganda, we have Nigeria, we have Zimbabwe, we have, and of course, Kenya. Lots and lots of excitement.
Aje huko. Makofi kidogo mazee, si unajua vile mafans ufanya bana. Si ndio? Hamuingii tu uwanjani alafu kimya. Kipenga kwanza kianza tu nduru au sio? Anyway, like leo niko na motisha leo. Today things are happening today. Leo niko na mgeni mzuri tu sana. Daddy Owen yuko kwa kiwanja. Leo tuko na beef kidogo tumalizane ile.
Papa Fololo mwenyewe. Niko ready.
Papa Fololo ako ready. Then we'll be joined by Otoyo vile. Mengi tu tutakuwa tunazungumzia mambo maswala kuhusu AFCON, fixtures na kadhalika, lakini tutakuwa tunachanganya lugha ya Kiingereza, Kiswahili ama sivyo.
I'm trying to force him to speak more English.
I will speak English. Trust me, nekubali. I will speak English.
Unaweza ongea tu Kiswahili. Let's exchange.
Tukiwa na wewe kizungu tu, yeah?
And yeah, kama kawaida, we want your views from you back home. Remember, we always have a question of the day, and today we are asking you, who do you think will win the African Cup of Nations and why? Let us know. Use the hashtag Viva Africa 2019 at Mukami Wombora, at Nimrod Chabu, and at Citizen TV Kenya. Let us know your thoughts. A lot of things coming up today. Yeah. Bernard is also in Cairo.
And there's a lot of money to be won today. Remember yesterday the quick fire round was what, 40,000 shillings?
Yeah.
Then
so
immediately
today?
we got to 45, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5. All to be won.
Imagine.
By somebody who's watching us today or somebody who's one of the fans.
Yeah. So everyone has been given their numbers. And I'm telling you, today I have asked the easiest questions ever. Honestly, I want this money to go. Before Mike comes back, I want this money gone. He starts again on Monday. So 45,000 Kenya shillings to be won. General questions about the African Cup of Nations. I've even given you hints. So start researching by the end of the show as you're watching. And let's just also now look at what else is in store today. We have our DJ here. DJ Trim has joined us today. Maybe we can hear a bit from him. He's going to be giving us some of those rhythms and those musics. Maybe you can just tell us a bit about yourself, what type of music you like to play as we begin the show, what music you play for us. Maybe you can give a bit of Ugandan flavor, some Congo, some Kenya music, kila kitu, just mix.
Yes, I'm DJ Trim, and I play almost all genre of music, straight from rumba, local, Africa, hip-hop, and I'm usually here by there. I'm usually at Hot 96 every Thursday from 3 to 7, and you'll listen to what I'll play.
Okay, sawa. Thank you so much, DJ Trim. Now let's talk to some of the fans. Just introduce yourself, tuambie kitu kidogo.
Yeah, asante sana. Kwa majina ni Vitalis Baba Salongo kutoka Uganda. Si ni majirani hapo karibu kwa boda.
And najua leo, you guys will be looking forward to tonight's game, Egypt and Zimbabwe. It's going to set the tone for the whole tournament.
Kabisa.
Ideally, you guys are in the same group. What is your ideal result?
Mi kwa upande wangu, mimi tunaomba sana Egypt wapate draw. At least kesho nikicheza game yangu, rafiki yangu akaapa kesho nimnganganie tu nipate hizo points zangu 3 za maana. Nianze game na furaha.
He's looking at you because you know this is a team that you're playing tomorrow.
Nineiba hapa lakini kawaida nitampiga. Points zangu 3 ziko huko.
Are you hearing what he's saying? He's saying he'll beat you guys.
Yeah, I'm Ruben, and but I don't think Uganda has the same level as Congo. Uganda is still back. Yeah, Congo won the AFCON twice. Uganda, I don't know, and I don't even know when was the last time Uganda played the AFCON. So we are really happy to see Uganda coming back in the competition.
Yeah.
And actually Uganda came because they've accepted to add more teams, 24. If it was still 16, I don't think Uganda should be there. So you guys should be humble and watch us as we are going to take the cup back to Congo. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a chance to reply. Ama wezi unataka kusema kitu ama awacha msichibu basi.
Okay, so brother, si ni wale wabaya. This round Uganda tumekuja tukiwa form. Si ile Uganda unatarajia ile ya kitambo. 2017 tumekuwa huko. Tumefanya ile maneno yetu kidogo, but this round tunakuja nayo kitu Uganda.
Now, there's actually a Zimbabwean at the back. Let's hear from him. These guys are talking as if they're the ones who are going to win. But they're forgetting that there's Zimbabwe and Egypt.
Exactly. So it's good to come into the tournament with the underdog tag. Very little is expected from Zimbabwe. And they've been there before. They haven't exactly performed. But I think this time around, like I say, they have the underdog tag. And I see them as the surprise package of the tournament, and I would love to see them go far. And yeah, my hopes and my money is on them, no doubt about that. And we've played Egypt before. We haven't done particularly well against Egypt. They've beat us every time we've played them. So I'm hoping that things turn around tonight when we play them. I know there's the pressure, there's the 12th man, but like I said, anything is possible in football. And tonight we might witness a surprise.
Okay. Now there's actually someone who is in Egypt, and that is my colleague Bernard Ndong. Bernard, it's D-Day there in Egypt. Can you give us a sense of the mood and the atmosphere in Cairo?
Right, Mukabe Obora, thank you so much. Back there in Nairobi, it seems you have the United African kind of show. I've had Ugandans speaking, Zimbabweans. Well, let's see how things will transpire for some of those fans, especially as the tournament kicks off proper. Now, I'm positioned at the entrance of one of course, there are several entrances to access the facility here at the Cairo International Stadium. That is the host venue for the 2019 opening game of the Africa Cup of Nations. We got a chance just to see how things were outside as far as the atmosphere. The images will be running just now for you to get a sense of what exactly transpired. So you can have a look at how the Egyptians were enjoying themselves on the streets. It's several hours to kick off. The game kicks off at about 10 p.m. Cairo time. That is around 11 p.m. Kenyan time. I can tell you there's a lot of activity right now because we understand it's going to be a high-profile delegation. Of course, the top leadership of Egypt will be here for this year's Africa Cup of Nations. But it's something that very, very fascinating because this is not the first time that Egypt has hosted this tournament, so we'll be expecting a lot of course, engagement with the fans, a lot of reaction as far as the tournament is concerned, Mukami.
Wow, it looks like there's a crazy atmosphere, and it's just, I don't know what time it is. An hour behind you guys, it's 12:49 there, and the game is at 11 p.m. and there's still so much activity on the road. Now, I'm sure such big tournaments, a lot of logistics go into it. Maybe you can tell us, and there you've mentioned big delegation from Egypt coming in, the top government officials. What is the security like over there?
Well, Mukabi, just to tell you a sense of how secure it is, I'm sure you're wondering why there's no activity in the background. It's because where we are is completely cordoned off. This is exactly where the president of Egypt is expected to pass through to access the stadium, and we were privileged to be able to just get an opportunity just to give you an update right here. It's because you're not able to see behind the scenes, but right now we have about more than 120 police officers. They've been just standing, watching, observing us. I'm sure they're wondering who we are, but we're able to introduce ourselves and told them that we are journalists from Kenya who are following the African Cup of Nations. But nonetheless, there's a lot of security around this particular facility because of the fact that there's a high-profile delegation. We understand the top leadership of the country is expected, other dignitaries as well. But essentially, it's a big day for the host, Egypt. They opened their campaign against Zimbabwe in the first game of this year's Africa Cup of Nations. Mukami.
Okay, now, of course, you've seen we have a Zimbabwean in studio. I'm sure he's interested to see what the expectations for tonight's games are. How are the Egyptians there? Are they confident in winning tonight's match?
Right, Kabi, you know, for any host who is, of course, organizing such a major sporting event like the Africa Cup of Nations, there's that confidence, there's that exuberance. And for the Egyptians, for them, they are confident that they'll have a solid start when they face off against Zimbabwe. And it's important also to appreciate the fact that Zimbabwe has had its own troubles in the build-up to this opening game. A pay dispute has reared its ugly head once again. And we understand that some of the players, I don't know how true that is, were not able to attend one of their training sessions in the past 48 hours ahead of today's game. But I hope perhaps that issue has been resolved, because when you have such disputes before a very crucial game like the Africa Cup of Nations opener, it distracts the players and it disorients them. So perhaps that issue has been resolved. But for the Egyptians, they're very certain that their game, the first game against the Zimbabweans, will be a winning start for this year's tournament.
Terence, you've heard that. They're confident that it'll be a winning start. Finally, Bernard, Daddy Owen is here. He's donning his Harambee Stars jersey. He's confident. Kenya playing Algeria on Sunday. Can you give us any new updates about the Harambee Stars so far?
Right, for the national football team, they arrived here on Tuesday evening and they've had 2 training sessions so far. They had their most recent one yesterday and they're set to have another one later this evening before their opening game against Algeria. What we understand is that Brian Mandela is in the country just to come and motivate the players. Remember, he got injured in the camp in France, so he is linked up. He has linked up with the team and of course he'll just play that motivating factor for the national football team, Harambee Stars. They've been training well, they've been acclimatizing well, and as I mentioned in my previous updates, the issue of climate is something that they're factoring in the training sessions, especially how they're going to approach that 30-minute water break and the 75th minute water break that all the participating teams are supposed to enjoy because of the sweltering heat here. But nonetheless, for the team, they're preparing well, they're training well. We get a sense of perhaps the starting lineup on the eve of the game tomorrow when the team has its pre-match presser before their opening game against Algeria. But Kenya, as it is, in their camp, they got a lot of motivation. Remember, Raila Odinga, the former Prime Minister, the ODM party leader, came and motivated the squad yesterday and met them and just gave them a few words, sent his wishes from the president. And of course, it's a lot of support that will be coming for the Harambee Stars. The last time that they featured was 15 years ago. The opening game against Algeria will determine the kind of trajectory the national football team will have in this year's Africa Cup of Nations coming.
Well, thank you so much for that, Bernard. Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the opening game. I'm sure you'll be giving us more updates as the episodes of Viva Africa continue. Thank you so much. Daddy Owen, you've heard.
Yep.
Now, just to start things off, Brian Mandela is not there.
How big
of a blow is that to Kenya, honestly?
It's a big blow. It's a big blow, but I think the most important thing, we have a very strong CB, as in, for the first time, I think our defense is where Minye will have a lot of work to choose between, because Joash is very good, Musa Mohamed is very good, and then Calabar can play centre back or right back. So I think there's no big issue there. There's no big issue. But I think for the morale of the team, Mandela to be there, for me I call him Nyang to be there just to motivate the other teammates and all that is a very good thing. And it's a very good sign to see that even the medication he received while he's there. You know, Kitambo, those guys, when you're injured, you're sent back home. I remember Tojo, there's a player we used to call Tojo, had a very bad injury on his neck while playing 2004 Africa Cup of Nations. And he came back, and I think that was the end of his career. So it's a good sign to see even the support they were getting from the federation as a team.
Dadio, bila shaka umekuwa shabiki sugu wa timu hii, umeifuatilia kwa makini. Kinyume na ilivyokuwa awali wakati wa matayarisho, na nafikiri safari hii tumekuwa na matayarisho tofauti. Amini usiamini, zamani ilikuwa hata kupata mechi ambazo watu wanacheza friendly ilikuwa vigumu. Tunajigutukia tu kwamba tournament imefika ndio tunaingia. Safari hii tunaingia na ujasiri kwamba angalau tumefanya mazoezi kwa pamoja. Hakuja kuwa na haya matatizo ya kwamba hakuna tikiti za kusafiri, hakuna marupurupu. Kwa hivyo hakuna matatizo yale ambayo yamekuwa yanawatatiza.
Wifi tuko hoteli ndio ilikosa, wifi tuko hoteli ndio ilikosa, lakini
sasa je, unahisi kwamba hii safari hii itakuwa tofauti? Miaka 15 hatuja ingia humu, sasa tumeingia. Unahisi matayarisho yako kabambe ama namna gani?
Matayarisho yamekuwa poa sana, but considering tukiwa na friendly tumecheza juzi ya Madagascar and ya mwisho tumecheza na DRC Congo. DRC Congo is a very strong team by the way, team rahisi. Na tulicheza poa sana, even our first goal tulifunga bao poa sana. Isipokuwa tu Matasi kidogo alifamulio free kick, but apart from that the team iko very strong. Even the preparation, the friendlies, for the first time tumepata federation yenye inasema na sisi. Yani step by step from time tumequalify na preparations. For me, kwanza kwa France, imekuwa kitu poa sana. Najua watu wengi walikuwa na complain wanasema the weather is different from Cairo and all that, but for me nasema sometimes ni moral boosting.
Ndio kuuliza hapo. Je, unahisi kwamba imewapa moral sasa hivi kwamba wanajua kwamba hatuna sababu nyingine ya kutofanya vyema kwa sababu hatuna sababu.
Side na kufanya vyema. Kabisa. Hii niko so sure. Na kitu kingine vilikuwa tunaongea off air. Nikakwambia what so many people are forgetting. Africa Cup of Nations iko na group 6. Na kwa hizo group 6 inamaanisha kuna timu mbili za zinatolewa kila group.
Yeah.
Na bado kwa hizo timu zote hizo group 6 kutakuwa na 12 teams. Lakini the next round is 16, the round of 16. So inamaanisha out of the 6 groups kutakuwa na timu zingine 3 zitakuwa zinatoka from 4 from the 6 groups. So sisi tuko na chance ya kuwa one of the best third in our group.
Lakini tuzungumzie mechi yetu ya kwanza.
Mechi ya kwanza.
Algeria si mchezo rahisi. Tumecheza na Algeria wakati fulani wametufunga. Yaani kama kusema tu wametuzoea.
Hawatatuzoea tena, ndio mwisho kikomo. Tunapiga kikomo. I think the first match cha maana sana ni kuangalia Slamini. Tukipata defender Josh akisimama naye vizuri because their focal point kwa hiyo Algeria team ni Feguli na Slamini. Slamini ball ikichezwa ana control, ana bring in the other strikers ama midfielders because yendo point man hapo katikati. Because football yao imechange kabisa, si kama kitambo walikuwa wanacheza. Unajua tumezoea teams from North Africa, ball yao ni tiki-taka. But Algeria ukiangalia vizuri sasa wako na zile one cross pass inafikia Slamini ana control, ana call in other players in the team.
Swali langu la mwisho alafu nipatie mwenzangu Mokami aendeleze. Sitaki tubakie tu tukizungumzia Harambee Stars. Tutazungumzia mengi tu lakini timu ziko nyingi.
Yes.
Kuna timu ambazo pengine wengi wanazitazamia kwa kawaida zitakuwepo, zingine hazitakuwepo. Kawaida Afrika huwa tunachagua timu 5 tu ambazo tunafikiria kwamba ni kidedea zitakuwa mbele. Safari hii unaona nini? Maana kuna timu kama Burundi, kuna timu kama Zimbabwe. Safari hii unaona nani ataingia hadi 16 bora na hatimaye ingie katika robo finali halafu pengine semi final.
Timu inaogopa sana ni Uganda.
Kwa nini?
Uganda ita surprise watu wengi sana.
Kwa nini unasema hivyo?
Uganda wako very strong.
Kushinda Tanzania?
Uganda wako very strong. Uganda wamecheza for a very long time wamekuwa pamoja. Na hata ukiangalia vizuri before kwenda World Cup waliunusurika kidogo tu wakose. The last match walicheza na Egypt.
Uganda hiyo ni Afrika Mashariki. Je, ukienda West Africa?
Kwangu the only team najua surprise because for me my favorites najua team itashinda hii kitu. Favorite according to me naona ni Misri. Just by the virtue the tournament iko
kwa. Na pia wachezaji wazuri.
Na pia hata Waarabu kwa shinda kwao ni ngumu. Na ukiangalia vizuri even the last time ilihostiwa kwao walishinda. So kwangu ni hawa lakini watu wengi wanapigia upato Senegal.
Ngoma inaanza leo. Mukami bwana mkubwa hapa anasema pengine Misri. Nashangaa kwa nini ya kusema Harambee Stars lakini
tena mbali, si tena mbali.
Yana matumaini tena mbali.
Unyo kwa unyo, hata tupo real.
Pole pole tusiwe na tamaa
Unyo kwa unyo.
He urged Kenyans, let's support them. Let's see how far we can go because no game has actually been played. And just speaking on that, let's actually take a look at the groups that we have for this year's AFCON. Because there are 24 teams, it's the first time that there are 24 teams. So if we look at Group B, we have Nigeria, Guinea, Madagascar. We'll speak in detail about Group A. That's why we've moved to Group B. We'll have Nigeria, Guinea, Madagascar, Burundi. So this group, it seems that it's one of the easiest groups because for both Madagascar and Burundi, it's their first time to ever compete in the AFCON. Nigeria obviously having an easy time. Guinea have gone unbeaten, but so did Burundi in the qualifying campaign. But let's remember this, Madagascar drew with Senegal when they played. So it's not that they've actually proven themselves. It's not been an easy ride for them. Remember, Burundi are the reason Gabon and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang are not in the competition. They have managed to hold them both home and away. So it might look like it's an easy group, but there's a potential for upset in this group. Guinea lost 3-1 to Egypt. So they're coming into the competition slightly not in like the best frame of mind, but this is one of those groups where anything can actually happen.
Kwa hiyo hapo Mukami umeshasema tayari Nigeria inaenda
through.
No, Nigeria is going. I don't think anyone.
Unaweza mkashangazwa nyote.
No, Nigeria.
Then of course Group C, spoken in detail at length about it. Kenya to go in top third. Some people say Tanzanians might have something to say about that. He's saying top 3. Maybe you guys can chime in a bit about how you guys like in group, because Tanzanians, just tell him how confident you are in your team and why you think you will beat Kenya. Explain to him.
Samata.
I would like to tell him something. Unlike other teams, Tanzania, every player that is there, he has earned that place. He has earned that place. Out as in he was not favored. None was favored. So what I should like to tell you people, you know, many people are looking down on Tanzania that these people, they may not deliver. But how we are confident on our team is that you just wait and you're going to see one.
Papa Fololo is of the argument that this is a group of death. Do you agree?
I agree. I agree.
Katika AFCON fixes zote.
According to me, I see Kenya there. I don't think whether you guys you're going to
Boss. Okay,
but Algeria, let's see, Algeria has been slowly on the decline. Even the qualifying campaign was not that good. They're relying on star players. So let's move on now to Group D. Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa, and Namibia. Actually, this is now the group that is being deemed the group of death. Because Morocco have been in fine form. Cote d'Ivoire, obviously, you know their history in the African Cup of Nations. They were winners in 2015, and they have a lot of experienced players in the side. Then South Africa have been on the rise. Bafana have been doing really, really well. And Namibia, we don't know. So whether there'll be an upset, Namibia, I think, is the team that might not cause any surprises, but between those three, and Morocco might go through. So I feel like the competition will be between South Africa and Cote d'Ivoire. One is on the up and one is on the down. So whether how they meet in the middle will be interesting to see. Then we have Group E: Tunisia, Mali, Mauritania, and Angola. In this group,
I think Tunisia and Mali, because Mauritania, I'm not sure about them, and then Angola right now on a decline. They just come back again, but I don't think they're preparing well, as considering Tunisia and Mali are very strong. Mostly when it comes to Africa Cup of Nations, North Africans and West Africans are always very, very strong in any pool and any group.
So this one is an open and shut case.
Yeah.
Then we have Group F. This group, Cameroon, Ghana, Benin, and Guinea-Bissau. How do you see it going?
Of course, Cameroon and Ghana. Here is so easy. Cameroon and Ghana. Benin, I'm not just disqualifying them, but I'm just saying Cameroon and Ghana, even in the preparation, they've been very good. And the most important thing people forget when it comes to such tournaments, pedigree is very important.
But you know, both Cameroon and Ghana, during qualifying, we beat Ghana, first of all.
I know.
And then Cameroon also weren't as convincing. They were supposed to host the tournament, and then things went wrong. So they've only had to play one
game. They knew they were not going to host.
Comoros.
Where in the world have you ever had a team that is going to host a tournament and again is the qualifier? They knew they're not going to host. They're just wasting our time. They knew very well.
So they were just hedging their bets.
Because why would you enter into qualifier and yet you know you're the host?
But they both have two new managers, so maybe that'll affect. Maybe that's how Benin and Guinea-Bissau might actually pull through. So that's just a look at the groups. I don't know. Let's just talk to now, focus on today, Zimbabwe and Egypt. How do you think they'll fare today? Do you feel like they're well prepared?
I believe they are well prepared for tonight's game. They've played the COSAFA, and I believe the coach has actually gone with the same players, most of which played the tournament in South Africa recently. So he's showed his faith in the same players. He's actually dropped a few big names. So I think that they are prepared, and I won't be surprised if Egypt are actually going to underestimate Zimbabwe, because on various occasions they've actually beaten them convincingly. So with that in mind, I think that Zimbabwe might have a slim chance to beat Egypt tonight.
Now, there's a bit of a crisis in Zimbabwe. They refused to train just one day ahead of the team because their allowances haven't been paid. How do you think that'll affect the team's mentality? Are those side shows, will that have an effect? Because they're playing host.
Yes. That definitely has a negative effect on the players. There's no doubt about that. So you only hope that they put that at the back of their minds and focus on the job that needs to be done. I'm sure they're really excited to be there representing their country. So everything else, I believe, will be dealt with. And I'm hoping that they can actually put that behind and do the job that needs to be done tonight, and that is to represent the country and make us proud.
Should they have waited until after the game to do this, or do you agree with what they did? Do you think it was a good decision?
Perhaps not. I don't think it was. But again, is their right? So who am I to say they shouldn't have gone ahead and done what they did? But yes, it actually does bring in a bit of commotion in the camp, because you know it brings unsettles the players, and it does a lot of negative effect on the moral of the players. So I think maybe they should have actually tried to deal with it at a later stage. Yeah.
Then you can just hand over the mic. Imran, you're Kenyan, but I know you know a bit about Zimbabwe, the players, especially the ones who play in South Africa. Do you think, because about 60% of the team plays in South Africa, do you think that will help them? Because it's one of the top leagues in Africa. Does that mean that they have an advantage coming into the African Cup of Nations, or it wouldn't do much for them?
Actually, many people are underestimating Zimbabwe, but they are a good side. They topped their group in the qualifiers, and they're in the same group with DRC Congo and Congo Brazzaville and Liberia. So they are not pushovers as most people think, because they are playing the host today in the opening game of the tournament. And as you said, they have a lot of players. The bulk of their players come from South Africa. Actually, 14 players play their trade in South Africa. And if you look at the South African national team, they have 17. So Zimbabwe has 14, South Africa has 17 from their own league. So I think that will play a big role. But in terms of experience, it's not only about playing in Africa. You have to play in other leagues like Europe, and recently China has been coming into play. And I think Zimbabwe only has 6 players who play outside of Africa. And I think one is in China. And I don't even think he was called to the national team. As he said, there are big names who are dropped. So I think it's a good side, but it should not be underestimated.
Yes. Zimbabwe,
I think
or just not
Billiard is the danger man. I think Billiard is a danger man, as in...
but he can't do it alone.
He can't do it alone. And of course, what I've just heard about those dramas, the
allowances,
the allowances.
Yeah,
understand. We used to hear those things in Kenya. Those are past stories. We don't hear about. I don't hear about those stories now.
They might come up, but not now.
Not now.
The focus is somewhere else.
I support the player. Sometimes I know how it is. Sometimes it's good for you guys to protest and demand for allowances. It's not a bad move to demand.
You know, Mukabe, that's a good question. And sometimes you wonder, most federations, they knew in advance when these teams qualified. So it's not ati umegutukia tu leo ati tumequalify, tumeambiwa kesho tupande ndege. You know, mwezi mzima, miezi miwili tatu, watu walikuwa washajua tuna qualify. So the next thing should have been, where do we get the funds from? Having said that, nafikiri tu kwenye fixture kidogo tu, and tournaments like this, and like a whole season, ni kwamba mechi ni kidogo sana. Utakuta ni mechi ya kwanza, ya pili, ya tatu, umeingia group ya 16, group ya 8 ambayo ni robo finali, semi-final. So normally wengi watasema kwamba ile mechi ya kwanza ndio muhimu. Halafu saa nyingine ile ya tatu, manake ndio itaamua kama utaingia ama utaingia. Unahisi kwamba timu zichukulieje hii mechi ya kwanza? Manake mara nyingi utakuta timu ambazo hasa zile zimebobea zinatarajiwa ziwike, kina Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Ghana, Egypt na nini. Unakuta mechi ya kwanza ndio wanashtuliwa. Unatoka draw, halafu ama unashindwa, halafu ya pili unatoka draw. Sasa inakuwa ni pressure.
Mechi ya kwanza kabisa hiyo ujenga moral. Ukishinda ama ukidraw mechi ya kwanza, moral inakuwa pale. Kwa maana unajua cha maana ni, even as a coach unajua timu umeselect itakusaidia sana. Lakini unajua kilose game ya kwanza inamaanisha lazima uchange the next team, because hauko sure. It's only if we go to history, tukiangalia history vizuri, it's only Spain I think wali lose the first match 2010 World Cup na wakaenda wakashinda. But ni hard sana upate team ina lose the first match na bado inaenda kushinda, because inakuanga disorient. The first match,
especially kama ni team kubwa, alafu wale waloko chini kwenye group yao wanashinda mechi ya kwanza. So
hata ukiangalia vizuri sasa na Copa America venye Argentina game ya kwanza walicheza vibaya, game ya pili wamechange everything, bado wanacheza vibaya kabisa. So Harambee Stars game ya kwanza mimi naweza omba tu cha maana tu ni coach stick na his team. Tumekuwa tucheza poa friendlies, tumecheza poa of course qualifiers, na tuko na very strong team. The best thing about our coach hajakuwa akibadilisha team over and over. Tumekuwa na the same group of players for a very long time. Na I believe with the experience ya Wanyama, Olunga, all of these guys kina Timbe wamekuwa na sisi all this time, wako steady kabisa na watu wanajua what they are there for. Na tournament kama hii kwangu sioni kama inaweza washtua sana, kwa sababu wengi kama timu yetu ya Harambee Stars wengi wanacheza nje.
Swali lingine ambalo jana nilikuwa na wengine na pengine ningependa kuvutia maoni yako ni kwamba wachezaji wengi ambao wanachezea ugaibuni ama abroad. Msimu huu kwa kweli si wengi walikuwa na msimu mzuri. Ukiangalia katika timu nyingi ni wachache. Je, unahisi kwamba hii ni nafasi yao ya kuokoa hali, kujionyesha kwamba ni wazuri? Maana kuna ni wengi sana. Tulimtaja jana Wilfred Zaha tu katika Crystal Palace ugaibuni, lakini kuna wengine wanacheza ligi tofauti, lakini wengi ukiangalia kwa ujumla tu wa Afrika ugaibuni hawakuwa na season nzuri.
Kuna wale walikuwa na season nzuri, tukienda kwa Mane, tukienda kwa Salah, unajua. Lakini sasa ukiangalia kuna Partey wamekuwa na season poa, lakini ukiangalia tukirudi kwetu kwa Harambee Stars, my biggest worry na nasema kitu tunaweza kosa fanya poa ni hizo knocks. Tuko na players wengi wetu wako na injury. Ukiangalia Timbe hayuko poa sana, amekuwa na very many knocks. Hata ukiangalia the last match amekuwa na injury akasabiwa. Olunga amekuwa na injury most of the season. Ukuje vizuri Victor Wanyama amekuwa na injury most of the season. So all our top players, the only issue is that to affect sisi kama saa hii kama Harambee Stars, maybe tu niyo point ya wale wanacheza pro ina to affect hizo injuries. Hizo knocks wamekuwa nazo zimekuwa mingi sana, zinaweza kuja zikuwa accumulative kwa tournament, alafu the first match wa stretch upate mtu anapata injury haizi cheza the whole tournament. Hiyo tu nenda kwa
tutaendelea na mazungumzo. Acha hivi sasa nimpishe Mukami aendelee kidogo na kipindi chetu.
Yeah, so as always, want to get your feedback. The question of the day is, who do you think will win the African Cup of Nations? Remember, it's starting tonight at 11 p.m. and you have to tell us why. So let's just look at some of the feedback here. On Twitter, we have Eric Muhingi who says Senegal and Egypt have the best chance to win the trophy. Remember, Senegal have not won a big trophy yet, and there's a lot of expectations on them. Then we have MC Orango Rogers. Senegal will win this tournament. They are the favorites left, right, and center. They will give all teams a run for the money, including ours. MC Almeida Stallion says it will be a hard tournament, but Nigeria might pull through. As for Kenyans, we may make it to the semis. So you can see Nigeria. Then we have Dante Mwana who says Egypt. Mohamed Salah will be the main catalyst for the Pharaohs, and they will undoubtedly be a dangerous team with the Liverpool star in full flow. Also, the 12th man home fans behind the team will motivate them going forward. Then we have Bruce. My teams are Kenya, Zambia, Senegal, and hosts Egypt. Egypt should take this. Zambia is not in the... Bruce, unfortunately, Zambia is not in the African Cup of Nations. At Mwalimu_Nick says, Harambee Stars to go all the way. I'm so optimistic with the kind of training, motivation, and investment in terms of transport, accommodation, and everything. They have no reasons to fail us. Much is expected to whom much is given. Exactly. Then we have Samuel Gitahi, Benin, Kenya or Burundi. This is the year of the underdogs. If Andy Ruiz pulled
good one.
Anthony Joshua, nothing is impossible to Naweza.
That's a good one.
So, and then we have Eugene Joseph. Egypt and Tunisia will be in the finals. I wish Kenya qualifies to the second round. For Kenya, if we make it to the next round, that's a victory in itself. Yeah. So those are your feedbacks. We want to take a quick break, but remember, DSTV have you covered this AFCON period. Compact Plus, you can get a decoder for just 3,999 Kenya shillings. You get a 1-month Compact Plus subscription, and that gives you all these games live and in HD on Super Sport 7. But remember, terms and conditions do apply. Let's take a quick break. DJ, play us out. We'll be back in just a bit.
What the hell is you looking for? Can I young Lou make